This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sophia Yvette.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Are you in need of a grief recovery specialist? Well, one may be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing our good neighbor, Gina Waterman, with her company, Gina Waterman. Gina, it's great to have you on today. Now, we are so excited to learn more about you and your company. So tell us just a little bit more about your business.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me, Sophia. So I'm a grief recovery specialist, and what that means is I essentially help people heal from emotional pain. I use the grief recovery method, which is the gold standard in grief and loss. It's been around for over 40 years. It's evidence-based. And I also host a show called Confessions of a Special Needs Mom, where I talk about disability, grief, and faith and how it impacts us as special needs parents.
Wow. Now, let's get into how you officially started this company a little bit more and your backstory. Can you dive into that a little bit more for our listeners today?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I found this program back in 2019 when I was basically drowning from accumulated grief and loss. And what triggered me to go to a workshop and learn more about this program was the fact that I was drowning. I didn't know how to get out of the hole that I was in, and I had a lot of accumulated grief. And at the time, I was recovering from a divorce, and my father dying, my last living relative, and being executor to his estate 1,500 miles away, as well as having a special needs child to care for who was much younger at that time. So all of those things diverged around not exactly the same time, but they were enough to put me under. And I was going to talk therapy for a lot of it and many years, but I didn't really find anything as transformative as the grief recovery method. So once I found it and went through and did some healing on my own, I felt so strongly that I needed to bring it to the community.
Wow. Now, Gina, in your own experience, what really created that turning point in your healing journey?
Well, as I said, once I did some work on myself and came back home, I did this out of town. I went all the way to Seattle to get myself out of my just out of my head and out of town, because at that point we were still sharing custody and doing all the things with his father. The turning point was it was really okay. 2019, just going back. We had COVID hit, and so most of us were locked down. And even though I was certified to deliver the program, I was very new to delivering it online. So we were able to shift and work with clients online and do this during COVID, but it really wasn't as impactful as I found it to be in person, right? So I focused on how can I bring it to the special needs community, and fast forward after getting out of lockdown and doing some more with clients and helping them really with traditional grief and loss, with divorce, pet loss. I saw many people who were, recently widowed, as well as people who might have gone through some other losses that really society dismisses or doesn't recognize, things like miscarriages. So I was doing a lot of those traditional types of clients, but I was really working in the background on how to bring this to special needs parents. And that, for me, is really what I wanted to do in the beginning anyway. So I was guesting on a couple different programs and decided, yeah, it's time to roll out Confessions of a Special Needs Mom. It's been on my heart for over a decade, if I'm going to be honest.
Wow. Now, we're going to go ahead and switch gears here for a second. We do know that marketing is the heart of every business. You said you really focus on helping the special needs community, but is there anybody else that you're really looking to help today, audiences you're looking to focus on? And on the online front, how are you reaching them?
Yeah, great question. I really do get my clients through word of mouth, and I'm reaching more people now through Fishbowl Radio Network, which is where my show is every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central. So it's broadcast live streamed globally. So I have listeners in the UK, the US primarily, but all over. And Locally here in North Texas, people can reach me through Facebook, Instagram, and my YouTube channel, Confessions of a Special Needs Mom with Gina Waterman. So if they want, again, I will help anyone who is dealing with pain and loss, grief and loss. But as I said, my niche is really special needs parents, of which I'm in the community myself. My son has a disability and he's now 22. It's post high school, and all the things that no matter the disability, parents are experiencing. I've walked that walk. So I'm kind of unique in the community for delivering this method. There's many people that deliver the method, but I'm unique in that I tailor it to and speak to directly what special needs parents might be experiencing.
Now, when you say the method, can you get a little bit more specific into what that method looks like for our listeners today?
Sure. It's called the Grief Recovery Method. It is, I don't have the book in front of me. I usually do, sorry. It's available on Amazon, and you can also go to griefrecoverymethod.com and do a search for all the specialists. There's going to be one in your area. So wherever you're listening from today, I like to remind people that even if you don't go through me, and especially if you're a friend of mine, we're not going to walk through it together, but it is an action-based program. So the book is available, and we'll give you a breakdown of what we mean by the method, and then programs, and you can even get certified yourself if you're interested in that. And the website will direct you to that. So you can go to that site, look around, poke around, and at the bottom, you can look by region and do a search. And if you look in Dallas, you're going to find me, of course.
So Gina, in your own healing journey, did you use this method yourself? And what principles from it did you find most helpful?
Yes, as I said, in 2019, that's what I went to do. I took the workshop, I signed up for it. I don't know really how I got to it other than just doing a Google search, which is kind of strange because it's been around so long, over 40 years, and I didn't really know about it, and no therapist directed me to it. What was the second part of your question?
Which principles from it did you find most helpful?
Well, as I said, it's an action-based program, so I can't share the whole thing with you today, but we essentially break down the losses that we were experiencing. Any loss that has brought you to the program doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to work on that one. Like with a client comes to me, they may be coming because they're in pain because they just lost their husband. He just died, right? But they may wind up working on their father or their mother or someone else that they've lost or feel estranged from. And it doesn't have to be, as I said, it can be a living person. So the principles are all the same, or the actions that we take are all the same. We identify what it is, we work through you step by step, and you go with homework every week. It takes on average about 7 weeks for most people to work through a loss. And we, at the end of the day, come to a point of sharing a letter, which has a lot of different components in it that gets you to the point of saying goodbye, not necessarily to the memories of this person, not the good stuff, but to the pain. So you're saying goodbye to the pain, and you are walking alongside someone who's trained in the method. We have to be certified to deliver this.
Understood. Now, what is the greatest takeaway overall you would like our listeners to gather from learning about your business today?
The greatest takeaway, I'd say, is today we're living in such a hard time and dark times that we all need to take care of our emotional health and prioritize that, because again, whether you like to say you're okay, and we all put on that mask, it is critical to take care of your emotional health first and foremost, because all of your relationships are being impacted, whether they're personal, professional, your children, your partner, your people you work with, anyone that you come in contact every day, every single day is feeling it. So we tend to gloss over it. We tend to say to people, be strong and carry on. But that actually does the reverse and keeps us stuck in our pain. So this is what this program does. It helps you heal from that emotional pain and make room for living again, living a fuller life. Therefore, all of the people that you're involved in will as well. And so I'm here to remind people to prioritize that. It so often gets put in the back burner. I feel so strongly that between emotional, physical, and spiritual health, it is the top. It's better, it's more impactful to, once you walk through this, to do this over a gym membership. Yes, physical health is extremely important. I'm not saying not to do that, but the emotional side has such an impact, especially for special needs parents and the weight that they're carrying around with them every day because of the unmet hopes, dreams, and expectations of what they thought was going to happen versus what is happening. And that is for everyone.
Yes, I can understand that must be quite a process to walk through. And where is the best place for our listeners to go to learn more about your business and the ways that you're helping some of these parents and people overall?
Yes. The best way to reach me, I'm on Facebook. You can look me up on my fan page, which is Gina Waterman, host of Confessions of a Special Needs Mom. And then I have the YouTube channel, which is at Confessions of a Special Needs Mom with Gina W. And I also have if you look me up on Facebook, I have 3 pages. My personal, which you won't get involved in, but I have a business page called Gina Waterman Grief Recovery Specialist. And as I said, if you want to look locally in your area, if you're not in Texas, I think most of your listeners are, and you're in Frisco and North Texas. But if they are outside of this area, you can direct them to our main institute page, which is griefrecoverymethod.com.
Well, Gina, I really appreciate you being on the show today. We wish you and your business the best moving forward.
Thank you, Sophia. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpfrisco.com. That's gnpfrisco.com or call 469-221-9345.